So it is 6:35 and we have quorum. I will open the meeting. And we got first on the agenda inspection fees as submitted by the with Kurt the last meeting. I hope everybody's had a chance to review it good. I know you had a question, Jeremy.
Looks good. I appreciate you pulling this together for us.
I have to, also present this to the Board of Selectmen, and hopefully with this board's support, we can move this to a reasonable place where it is. And it was a great exercise to see, what we have been doing, what we could be doing, and as we all know, we've had, previous to this, probably 3 really banner years because of, a very large project in town that, permitted over $1.5 million.
Which won't happen again.
Which 241 Sturbridge Road there, they were at planning board for a minor modification of their site plan. They decided to raise the grade of everything 2 feet. Building's still the same size, but as they've gotten into the project, they, had more earthwork contractors look at the scope, and they said, "Yeah, but you're moving dirt for why?" I mean, moving dirt costs money.
Yeah.
And if you can't, so
Right, okay.
it changed. They lost 2 parking places. The previous tenant had a desire for a hydrogen fueling facility. That tenant is no longer interested. It's hydrogen vehicles, and you can have hydrogen trucks. So they gained a few parking places, but it just, balanced their site fill better, I guess.
But they're still before planning board and getting permits.
No, they're through. They just came, like I said, they came for a minor, what was determined to be a minor modification. It didn't change the drainage calculations. It didn't change the site layout. They just, instead of being down here, they said, we're going to be here. We pressured to say, well, can you tell us anything? The guy from Langdon Engineering, the civil engineer, says, there's somebody, but they're not telling us, and until the announcement is announced, we're all guessing.
Okay.
So they're moving ahead.
Nice to know, though, that there's something coming down the pipe. Someday. All right. Any other questions on this schedule as presented to us?
No, and so what you're saying is this is more of a typical year of fees.
Yes,
based on,
yes. This is what calendar, 2025 is, or 2025.
Yeah.
And this will help substantially moving forward in terms of if we did have a shortfall. I know we're anticipating, you put a lot in there about, and you mentioned it a lot, about future growth. If it drops off, we're in trouble, this will...
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a very small percentage of our overall, budget, but any revenues raised offset local taxes needing to be collected. So, obviously it's a help in the long run to just stay competitive with the with the surrounding towns and the markets. That way, if we ever did end up in this situation, we're not making a drastic jump.
And where do we end up in terms of, with this pricing, just, final, we're not the most expensive town, not far, right? Still, I remember...
No, there's towns that would be much higher.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are much lower, and
Right. But we were the lowest.
we were down on the bottom end.
Yeah.
Okay. To go back to
Yeah, I remember they stood out that we were that inexpensive.
Yeah, right. So we were down. We're down at the red line down here for, for houses. Our price for houses at $1,300 a house, and this is where I'm recommending to be, and this is the plot of the comparable.
And this also
So it still puts us in the middle.
And it gives the inspectors a little raise, right?
Gives the inspectors a little bit of a raise for the trade inspectors.
Yeah.
Per inspection, and it garners another, we go from $5 town share to $20 town share, so we increase that 15.
When's the last time they had a raise?
Same, we've been, 16, I think, is when the last time we did it. There was a little tweak made by the request of a couple of board members to play with a couple of fees that,
It's well overdue.
Right. When we first brought it up a couple of years ago, it was overdue then.
Yeah.
Luckily Kurt got on top of it. All right. Christian, any questions?
Or Brian?
Brian?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
Nothing from me.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion that we support the schedule as presented by the building inspector to be forwarded to the Board of Selectmen. I have a motion.
Motion to accept.
Motion
I'll second.
and a second, okay? Any further discussion? Brian, Christian?
No.
No, I'm in favor.
Okay, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Opposed say no. It is unanimous. Kurt, thank you for the hard work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Maybe I'll just sit and watch for a while.
You're welcome.
You can stay there if you want to.
No, I don't want
Slide all the way back.
to. Right, out of view.
Okay, so next we've got a review of the draft town budget proposal that's put together by Ashley and Andrew.
So in your packet, I just stuck water and sewer in there. We'll do those first since they're easy. So water didn't really have a change, just a little bit of a minor change, and adding some more maintenance and some engineering costs in there. Because I think they're going to start looking at the blue tank that's up on
Excuse me, where am I going to find that?
Oh.
On here.
on the tablet.
Yeah.
It's not on the tablet. It's
Yeah.
just in the printed packet I gave you.
Yeah, I just pulled
that
up
one I
that
didn't. Yeah, that's just
80-page document.
Yeah.
First one?
yes.
Okay, water, yeah.
So the blue tank that's up here on, is it North Main? What street is it on? I know it's at the end of North Main, but it's up next to where, next to where McClure is. There's a big blue tank that's up there. They want to bring that back up into service. So I think that's just adding some costs in there for them to keep going with that project, and they'll probably need some capital money at some point, but that's down the road. So they're easy. There's nothing really to the water budget. So that was what they recommended. So since they've came to present the budget to you for sewer, they had a change in personnel down there. So the department that was down there did leave, or the person that was down there, they had one body. She's retired. So I think they did present to you this. We were going to go with the superintendent and administrative assistant, which is what it used to be prior to when they switched it to one person. We've decided to go with a foreman in that position instead of a superintendent, in hopes that maybe sometime down the road we could maybe eventually merge to a true DPW. So that would give us the opportunity to do that. And if we decide not to go down that road, then we could just revamp the foreman position into a superintendent if we wanted to.
A foreman basically oversees the operation, although
Correct.
the actual operation is done by a subcontractor
Correct.
company.
So they'll be overseeing the contractor, keeping them in line, and then overseeing the executive assistant that's in the office.
Okay.
So they still have
The
oversight over
administrative
staff.
work. All right, so they're responsible for the administrative work. Of what
Well,
goes
there'll
on.
be, yes, so there'll be an administrative assistant in the building that will do all the administrative work, but they're responsible for overseeing that person
Right.
that's doing the billing and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And then the foreman will be in charge of like the technical aspect and overseeing the contracted company that's down there.
Okay.
Whoever it may be. It's Veolia right now, but they're going up to bid for a contract and that will renew for November 1st, so that could be a different company, but
So when you're talking about putting it into the realm of the DPW,
Yeah.
because he's a foreman, he would then report to the
DPW.
highway
We're kind of,
superintendent.
we're kind of trying to create that preliminary structure in
Right.
case at some point we decide to merge it all under a DPW umbrella, that our foreman type positions are all categorized the same. So
Right.
that way we don't have to kind of fit
yeah, it gives us
Route
the
for
opportunity to go that
sure.
route if we want to. You can't do it right now because the water sewer commission is still there and they're elected, so it's going to take an act of Congress to change all that. So rather than do that now, we figured this is the best fit for them, and it works in their revenue. I had a revenue issue adding a superintendent in here because I don't have the revenue for the past 2 years to back it up because they've been behind. So this will at least help them. And if we decide not to go down the DPW route, we could always
Elevate this.
elevate it differently down the road when they have more revenue coming in.
Yep.
So it was a perfect opportunity. So that's really the only change that they had here from what they presented. Everything else is the same.
And because water is supplied and managed by Southbridge, we don't worry
Have
about
much,
Florida
right.
over there.
No, and there's not much cost to
It's a
water.
position
so.
we're hiring.
We're in the
Yes.
process.
Yeah,
We're in
so
the
actually we're
process.
interviewing for the executive assistant right now. We have second round interviews next week, and then the foreman job I think is getting posted today or tomorrow.
Okay.
So right now they have the contracted employee down there doing the technical stuff. Yeah, I think he's the one that came in front of you guys last time,
Yeah.
working with the commission. So they have somebody there. It's not vacant. He's just not an actual Town of Charlton employee.
Mhm.
So they're going to move to having two Town of Charlton employees down there.
Okay,
So.
so do we need to do anything specific for the?
No, I'm gonna
sewer budget?
re-present this back to them and they'll vote at it at their next meeting, but as long as you guys are
Yep.
good with it, then. Okay, so now, if you wanna look at the main budget, which is the next page in your
Well, all right.
packet.
Before we just
It's a 8
delve into
pages.
numbers, okay, I'd rather go back to this.
Okay.
Right? And now you
So
guys
that's
have
what's
that
on your
on the
tablet.
left, on your tablets, okay? And just kind of go through some of the I made a lot of notes on the overview, on what you call overview.
Yep. So for Kristen and Brian, we're gonna look at the FY 27 budget, narrative in there. That's like the 80-page document that's in the Dropbox.
Okay.
Okay.
Printed copy.
Yeah, my first question, and again, what I'd like to do is start from the beginning, go through some of the notes.
Yep.
If you guys have made notes, and then if we need, because I'm looking at all those numbers, the budgets, and saying, well, we already sat with these people, we kind of heard their budgets, we'll go over the high points that you
Right.
changed maybe.
Yeah.
Okay? But let's not go line by line by line.
Yeah, no.
But, so on page 2, all right, down at the bottom where it says charges against revenue, right? I know what an overlay is, but I'm not quite sure why a state and county assessments is a charge against revenue. What,
So that's the money that so there's a library offset and I have to remember all of them. There's a couple offsets that the state will, so basically they give us money, it's called UGA. So they give us UGA money every year.
yeah,
Every month they give it. So they give us a dollar amount in budget and it's made up of there's veterans, elderly, UGA and something else. I have to look at the cherry sheet, which I don't have in front of me.
It's all state.
Yeah, it's all state aid money that comes
Yeah,
in. So
okay.
basically what they do is they give us money and then there's things for like pollution and a couple other charges that they offset to that UGA charge, which is really technically a charge against revenue, and then there's like a library offset for charges that they take out of our UGA money. So they basically give us, let's say they give us $1 million and then they take like 100,000 back. So it's just an offset to what they're giving us. So it's a net
because they're
amount.
giving us that money through a different form,
Correct.
either library or whatever, they're saying, fine, we'll give you $1 here, but we're taking $1
Yeah,
back
kind
over
of.
there.
Yeah, it's an offset to state aid through the cherry sheet that they have.
That's where offset comes in. And
Yeah.
so cherry sheet would be the same thing.
The so the state aid is the cherry sheet money. Years and years and years ago, it was a red piece of paper that they gave out, and now it's all online.
So I should show you kind of real quick as to what we look at here. So this is what the state releases, and they update it every time. There's the governor's budget, the House budget, and then the Senate budget, the conference committee, and then the final approved by the governor. So this kind of outlines all these numbers. So this bottom line here, this is the governor's proposal. She's saying that in total of unrestricted government aid, the veterans benefit reimbursements, state-owned land, and elderly exemptions, and public libraries, it totals out to just over $2 million that we get in state aid.
Yep.
So then we go over to assessments or estimated charges, and it outlines, all right, state and county charges, we get thing for air pollution districts and RMV non-renewal surcharges.
Yeah.
Gets taken out of that. And then the state assessments is for regional transportation.
Yeah. And then I think
That's their clawback, so that
Yeah.
money then goes to
Yeah.
WRTA
yeah.
as our
And then
assessment.
the library does come back as an offset, I think, too, somewhere.
Yeah, okay.
So
It's like 5%.
Yeah.
it's usually like 116 or 113, whatever thousand. They basically just offset to what, so instead of giving you money and then us writing them a check, they just net it from whatever they're giving us, yeah.
We go down, department expenditures, we got public safety. Under police, I see you added that SRO position
Yep.
that the school had asked for.
Yep, so they're still, right now that's still in their budget, so we left it in ours, so it will go until it gets, if it gets cut, then won't spend it if it gets, so if it
they
gets
cut
cut,
it on
if the
their-
schools cut it, we won't fill it here.
Okay.
If the schools keep it, then we'll fill it.
So my related question to that is further down in the budget, it showed like $26,000, I think, or something for that. I forget what the actual number was. But I didn't know whether that was a net number or that was our half of.
It's our half, I think
That's
it's like
our half.
50,000, it's half of a body,
Okay.
I think it ends up being.
Half of it
Yeah.
plus benefits.
Yeah, half
Plus
the
benefits,
body plus benefits. So it's the net cost to whatever they're not gonna pay
Yeah.
to cover the rest of the.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I know it'll come up again.
Yep.
Fire department, any questions I'm gonna get on the fire?
So we
We did
added
add the full.
added the 4 full-time firefighters. We did hold on his fire inspector. I did tell him that if revenues looked good come the fall, we could maybe look at it again, but I told him if worst case you just wait till next year and you can ask for it again, because by then by the time budget season starts again, he'll have the current inspector, he'll have been there for a full calendar year, or he'll have been there for a full 12 months at that point, so we can kind of see how he's doing. And then by then, if he actually really does need a second body, I would feel more comfortable giving him a second body.
What about
Yeah.
that other position that was like that part-time person
Oh,
that can rotate through?
Oh, the
per
call.
dues and the call. So he did request, I think it was like $127,000.
Something like that.
We reduced that. So currently there's a line item for $25,000 that was in the FY26 budget. And that was budgeted just for one call person.
Yeah.
But it wasn't very well utilized.
No, it was the person's a nurse and she only backfills once a week. It was only like 1 or 2 shifts, maybe a month, and she was like being another paramedic on the ambulance or something like that.
Yeah. So
So they didn't utilize it a lot,
Right.
and they won't need that body once they hire the 4
Right.
additional. So
we said is if this is a program that you're trying to get off the ground, you already have $25,000. We'll increase that to they'll give you $5,000 more. Increase it to 30. These are supposed to be low cost saving
Right.
employees. Get it off the ground, see what the cost impact is, show a little bit of a trend that this is beneficial, and then we can reevaluate. But,
right, because he realistically can't fill it until the new station's opened anyway, and that's going to be October at that point.
Right.
So
Right.
by the time budget season rolls around, he'll have at least like 3 months of data that he can tell me if it's actually working and benefiting the department, and then he can go into budget season and ask for.
It sounded like
It
a
to
good
run.
plan, though.
Yeah.
Really, in terms of overall us saving money and.
Right.
The thing is, he does have to, he has to find these bodies, he has to onboard them, he has to get them going, and then show a little bit of proof that, yes, my plan is working.
Right.
So putting $120,000 into it to start the year off, and you can't even start it until October at the earliest, is,
Right.
I think, is a little bit too much funding to put in just to start the year.
Right, next year we'll probably, hopefully.
Yeah, if it's a
Or
beneficial
like I
program
said,
and
we
working.
could talk about it at the October
Yeah.
Right.
special time meeting.
Right, or even we could talk about it in May if we really needed to.
Was he coming back? Or were we meeting with him again?
He doesn't need to.
Okay.
He needed to talk about packs, and we figured it out, so he doesn't need to come back.
Okay.
They need like air packs and
Right, the 46.
yeah. So
The only reason I'm asking that is because I thought the way that he positioned that per diem position was how he would meet that minimum, like, what was it, 7 on and whatever the.
Oh,
So
He has a
right now,
minimum.
I just,
yeah,
so I want to say right now the minimum staffing is 4.
Right, 2 and 2.
To do 2 stations, to keep 2 stations fully staffed at the same time, it's the 7 that we're proposing.
Yeah.
He was looking at doing that as an additional body that could come in to backfill if essentially there was no other union member available to
Right.
do it. And
So the plan is still the 7 on with these
Correct.
4.
yes,
Okay.
it's still
That's-
going to meet the minimum to staff the stations. He was looking at this, well, if one of them has the day off and I can't find anybody else that's willing to work, then I could pull somebody
Per
else.
diem, yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure I understand kind
Yeah.
of like where.
I don't think that denying him this is going to mean he's gonna fall below minimum.
No.
No, but, and he was anticipating growth in the ambulance and
Right.
everything, so when you look at it, the way he sounded, as a recruiting tool and everything,
Right.
it sounded.
So that's why we figured as long as it's if what he's saying is actually going to work, then great, we'll fund it for next year. And if it's working, that's great. But since this will be a learning curve year because we've never actually fully operated 2 stations.
Right.
This will be a good learning curve for us to know, okay, is this really going to work? Is this the first time we've ever done this?
Yeah.
And are we really able to run 3 ambulances rather than just we've only ever really ran 2? So
Hey, Ashley.
yes.
Jamie's in the waiting room. Can you
Oh.
let her in?
Yep, sorry. I got up from I can't see.
No worries.
Okay,
There we go.
I'm
She
good.
should be
I'm
good now.
That's all.
No, I think more or less too is that we are adding one more person per shift too, so that should inherently already be able to cover additional ambulance calls.
I think he was looking more for that call out or vacation or
Right.
sick or whatever.
Or even
To
being
make
able
it
to run
easy.
another person to have 8 per shift if he really if everyone was
Which
there.
Which you really like. Okay. All
But
right,
he got
anything
his
else on
4,
five?
so
Christian, Brian, Jamie. Anything on what we've carried up to date?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right.
I have nothing.
Going down. We've
Okay.
got education is education.
So actually, education did the only change with education that we literally just found out is we have a student that we're going to have to send out of district because they want to go to an agricultural school. So now we're going to go back to we're having 3 school charges again. So we're going to have Bay Path's tuition is going to stay the same. Dudley Charlton's tuition is going to stay the same, but we're going to have an out-of-district tuition for an agricultural school, which we haven't had in 6 years?
Oh,
3?
Yeah. I remember the last time we had an ad out of district was in agriculture.
Yeah,
And
so that's
I forget
all
where they went.
Yeah,
This very year.
I think they went Norfolk Aggie. So this one, there's a school in Leicester now, so I guess that's where they're going. So
30,000 for one out of district.
yeah, so we're estimating transportation because we've never had a student go to this school before, and then we know tuition's definitely 15. So we estimated transportation at 15. So if it comes in, once we see a bill, we can predict the full year, and if we need to adjust in October, we will.
We have to pay for transportation.
Yeah, so the only thing that we will get now is next year we'll probably get Chapter 70 money that will come to us because we're paying
Okay.
for them to go to the school rather than it going to the school.
Right. Okay.
So.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So if we can't fund, because we're a regional district, if they can't accommodate somebody wanting to go do something special in town, we, as towns, have to pay for them to attend that school.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Public Works, Human Services.
Yeah, so nothing changed with Public Works.
Debt service.
Nothing changed with any of that. And then debt service, we just have, actually the only thing that I did want to ask is the library. So they did ask for 2 per diems. We didn't recommend funding either. I didn't know if Finance Committee felt differently.
Yep.
So that was the digital skills person, which right now is grant funded, and then they asked for a teen service assistant again. So I don't know if you guys felt differently
I
and
made a
wanted to
note
fund
that
them.
I was going to I wanted to talk about the team services.
Okay.
All right, so we'll make a note of that, come back to that.
Okay.
Get that on my notes over there. That's what happens at these meetings, you get too many pieces of paper.
I know. And then debt service is there's not much change to debt service because we borrowed out 1 more year on the fire substation again, so there's no long-term borrowing for it yet. So the debt service cost, I'm estimating, will probably remain the same. We will see long-term debt service costs in FY28. So you still have a little piece of it, but the long-term, the big portion of it will come in FY28.
Benefits and insurance, that we're gonna talk about, we'll talk about later about where you're at with insurance.
Yeah.
Just more curious. Financial position and stability. So I had made a note here, that we maintain in, excess levy capacity.
Yep.
And then down below, you wrote, it supports protection against mid-year financial disruptions.
Yeah.
Does that mean that at the October meeting, you can go back in and tap that excess levy capacity?
Before you officially set the tax rate,
Right.
you can go in and amend your budget.
You can.
Yes. So
Okay.
we've done that in the past where if we've underestimated our new growth significantly and realized that, it might be best to try to capture some of that growth, that will amend the budget at special town meeting before that tax rate is set. The converse to that is if you're right up against the line and all of a sudden you see that either the governor's proposing 9C cuts, your revenues are coming, your uncollectibles are coming in bad and you don't have the overlay to cover it, your local receipts aren't coming in,
Yeah.
and you have to reduce your budget for some reason,
Right.
that we aren't close to the bandsaw on
Yeah.
that. So,
Gotcha, okay. Yeah, that's the point that I had never realized, with the ability to change the budget before the tax rate is set.
Yes.
And that's why you can use that to mitigate.
Yeah.
Okay, now it makes sense to me. Outlook and considerations, and then I wrote, so you wrote down here, kind of like a doom and gloom. If new growth finds a level of less than $1 million a year, long-range forecasts suggest we might be addressed through budgetary decisions. I know I paraphrased.
Yeah.
But you're basically
Yeah.
saying, because I know in this budget you budgeted 250 or 350?
250.
250, okay. But here you're saying if it doesn't come in at $1 million, that we're gonna,
I think we are looking specifically on trend.
Right.
Because when you look back at last year and how we closed out last year, we took a little over $2 million.
yeah, 2.06 or something.
$2.06 million. And held it in the overlay as kind of like a cushion against Amazon potentially
Right.
coming in. Now we've put in. We still closed
1.8 million, I
1.8
think.
million to excess levy capacity. So you're talking about well over $3 million in funding that didn't have that taxing authorization that didn't go toward the operating budget. Now, if you look at the proposal for this year, and it's relatively lean. I mean, with the exception of having to add the fire department positions, and we're closing out $2 million. So that means we've lost $1.5 million between net zero of last year and today.
Right.
So
Okay.
if you keep going on this trend, and that's, I know we're still using conservative new growth numbers, and new growth can definitely come in a lot higher, but if it stays on this trend where you're continually going from $3 million to $1.5 million, or to $2 million, to $500,000 to zero.
Right, you're gonna lose your excess levy
Right,
capacity.
you're gonna lose it real quick.
Yeah.
So.
Which would mean then we have really nothing to fall back on. You're taxing to basically the penny again, which is what we've always done.
Yeah.
And you're losing your cushion that you should really keep for down the road. Just, I mean,
Or you're talking about an override.
right.
So
Right.
it's
Okay.
more or less a word of caution
Right.
of saying,
It's just the way it was worded, I was just trying to understand
Yeah.
what's the trigger.
Yeah, because we
Okay.
look at forecasts, and I think what was it, FY30 or something? If
Yeah.
things stay the way they're going, it looks like by FY30 we are in the red again.
Right, I saw that later on.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
down the road. That's another one of my yellow notes.
You're looking to see
yeah, I
what
was
it
just
is
gonna
in your-
hold on. I forget how it was there. Yeah, so I mean, when you can look at total general expense, but it's 7.58% increase over FY26 is essentially the bottom line number of what we're going up. And yeah, the school is also 7%, so basically matching what the school's assessment increase is. But tax levy only goes up 2.5%. and then you inflate that by the, by new growth. So unless that new growth is making up that gap between 2.5% and 7.5% year over year, you're gonna eventually end up finding your zero.
Yeah, I got you.
Is there a point where we get concerned with adding new staff? And I mean, we've grown a lot. I've been on this for almost 2-3 years, and we've been. I know we had Amazon, and there's a lot of need
Right.
for more people. But is there a point where we're sufficient, and we start to look at and forecast out that we might see maybe a recession or
And I
whatever?
think that's kind of where we're at right now.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what
think
we're
we
trying
hit
to
the
look and
point.
say, like, we can't just take every request for personnel. You know, we have to balance it against, you know, could it have the potential of creating additional revenues by adding the position?
Yeah.
Is it long-term sustainable? Does it improve our operations? I think we showed kind of in this budget proposal is like, even with adding the 4 firefighters, 2 of them we offset by increasing the amount of ambulance receipts
Right.
putting into the budget. So essentially, taxation is only paying for 2 of those bodies. So I think that we're kind of at that tipping point.
Right.
You know, we want to see what that new growth, long-term, stable looks like going forward. And we have to try to figure out what's the right operational balance to maintain.
Right. Yeah,
Going
we haven't
forward.
budgeted 250 in new growth, I think, since what, like FY 22?
Yeah, you're right.
It's been a while.
It's
I've
been a
just
while.
heard you over the last 2-3 years, like mention this like more than once,
Mhm.
a concern about the future, and it's like right now
Yeah.
might be the
And
maybe
you-
not this year, but at that
I
point
think-
moving forward.
Yeah, I think like FY
felt that as
29,
well.
30, you
Yeah.
start getting.
Right, you've got a projection out in the back of this
Yeah.
somewhere, and that's where we'll
Yeah.
really pick that up. But
And-
now you know why I'm always interested in what new growth is coming, because
Mm-hmm.
it can play a big part.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the reality of municipal budgeting is that
Right.
you're only guaranteed that 2.5%.
Right.
Everything else is a guess.
Yeah.
So you try to keep your operational costs at 2.5% and remain sustainable. But the overall, you know, market between health insurance and people's living wages and all this stuff,
State reimbursement.
Right.
it all just conglomerate. I mean, there's probably a banner year this year of towns that are going for overrides.
Yeah, and I think there's like over 50 towns that are going for overrides this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why when I saw it, fire department up 22%.
And the big
ooh,
risks.
it's the one that kills.
The big
Yeah.
risks are obviously the school,
Mhm.
and it's the percent that we pay too because of our previous growth,
Correct.
growing quickly over
Mhm.
the next 2 years. I think we're probably in
Probably,
it.
yeah.
At least, yeah.
Where that's going to continue to change. And then is there any any other major risks of? Obviously, we don't have Amazon, but it's like depreciation on anything that we've
I think personal. I think
Like,
personal
the-
property is probably
That's
something
what I'm
that we
worried
take a
about
look
because
at.
that was a huge.
But what they've been doing
that was
is
a huge increase.
They're already looking at adding, like I think they have a current building plan out with you, don't they? A building permit, Amazon.
Well, they have some permits for some renovations
Yeah.
and upgrades to their equipment, but it's minuscule
Yeah.
amounts.
But those, they said the robots have like a 3-year lifespan on them. So almost every 3 years, they're going to have to update those robots. So it's like as they depreciate out, you're adding new ones again.
What it does do is
And-
it does increase your levy cap even with
Right.
that personal property. So if that personal property value depreciates, it essentially just changes that graph, that
Right.
pie chart as to how the tax bill is then allocated out.
Right.
So if you saw depreciation in your personal property tax amount, you would probably see a bigger portion of that then go back toward the residential side.
Right.
So that's where it's that kind of balance to say how much of a budget increase can we propose that doesn't completely whack the single family taxpayer based off of that shift.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. A
Okay.
spike in taxes will cause an uproar.
Right. Yeah, so that's what we're always looking at. Like we were saying earlier too, like we're closing $2 million to excess levy. Do we take some of that and put it into stabilization now, rather than do it in the fall, if we have more new growth, like, do we just do it now? So I didn't have a chance to talk to Kathy today, but I'm gonna look at it with her and see what this would do if we spent a little bit more and put it into stabilization, what it would do to the single family tax bill if we left it, and if we put some into stabilization, like, what's the difference? Like, what's the shift now? We can kind of predict out based on this year's numbers. So I'm gonna look at that with her, because it would be nice to put some into stabilization now than wait until the fall, so.
And that way it's more of a gradual.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
target is 3%.
Right.
Like, we try to target a 3% average single-family tax bill growth year over year to remain stable.
Right.
And most towns don't have that luxury. They're just strictly looking at, what is the maximum tax levy capacity or capacity that I can budget to the penny. We have the flexibility, so we want to try to strike the right balance of having this stability, but also not whacking the
Right.
taxpayers just for the sake of doing it.
Right. Because we also obviously do want to save for if that shit does hit the fan, that
That
we're,
would happen.
yeah.
Yep.
Brian, Christian, Jamie, any?
I can't see
Comments?
chat, so.
I want you to know
I don't
you're
have
still
any.
here. I want you to know we know you're still here.
Thank you. I'm all good.
Okay. And then we get into the next group.
It's gonna be a little tricky.
That's fine. Until the cases come
Oh,
in.
you're gonna have cases?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all one came in. Hank Chair gets
Right,
the.
like it. And I'm not even using it because I'm going to have my notes.
That was your personal one.
So on debt service, that was a great explanation. That's what I'm saying. I may steal these definitions and put them in there. Revenue. Okay, so you answered my question. Oh, so yes, and that's went back to charges against revenues. So
Yeah.
in the 2026, it was 2.6 million.
Because we put money into overlay.
That's-
So overlay falls in there too.
Okay. And we put in such a big overlay because of Amazon.
Right.
Right.
We were afraid that they were gonna come back and
Right.
if they go to the appellate tax board and ask for, adjustment on their taxes at all, it has to come out of overlay, otherwise we'd be, and if their bill was like
Yeah.
upwards of almost
Okay.
5 million, so if they came back, we needed to have some sort of savings, just in case.
Because to have only 10% of the number for this year seems
Right.
kind of odd.
Yeah,
okay?
that's why. We're not anticipating, they didn't fight back this year, so we're not anticipating, like, their window has passed, so they can't take us
Okay.
at least for this year.
Right. So then new growth. So you're right. The last time was 2018 when we were below 250.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in those years, like, so we budgeted 250 probably up to FY22, I bet you. I know we budgeted 325, I guess, but still, right? So we were still conservative, and then it started going up from there.
Right.
Because we had to be in, be conservative, but kind of reality.
Okay. Anybody got anything on state aid or local receipts? Everybody understands that. Revenues, you got it laid out there. And the capital stabilization. So what I did read from here, which I hadn't realized before, was that the capital stabilization can be voted on at town meeting without a vote. Without a
Supermajority.
supermajority.
Yeah, because it's a special,
Yeah.
special
I
purpose.
thought that was interesting. Then we get to section 4, property tax. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on this section. I just found it to be very informational. Oh, I think I do have some notes.
Okay.
Our classes over the winter helped explain some of that.
Perfect.
We'll have to get back to adding them again now that we're out of budget hearings.
All right, then we get to what you call budgetary discussions. And the first one up on that agenda is the personnel.
Yes.
Okay.
So we funded the first 4,
Pages of
and
paper.
then,
Sorry.
page 23.
Oh, okay, we jumped. Okay.
So that first page right there, yeah.
All right, good.
So we funded the first 4, so your first firefighters. We didn't fund the fire inspector. We did the partial for the SRO, so that's fun. Well, full, but it's not a full body, but it will be
See, and that's why I made a note on that.
Yeah, he's not. It's not a. Well, I guess it is technically an FT. It's like a 0.5 FT instead of a 1.0.
We inherit the retirement and the health benefits, so, right?
Correct.
And
They
so
will
the
give us a
annual
portion
cost
of the
is
health
86,000.
insurance.
Our annual cost is
We're
86,000.
estimating with benefits. I think the school will give us a portion of benefits and stuff back. Because so right now the way we do BayPath is BayPath pays for the entire salary plus benefits. So the school will pay for half the salary and should pay for half the benefits. I believe. I have to double check.
So
with
when
the
this
chief
says
what they
salary is
negotiated.
$53,000, again, is that
That's just
our
for
share?
the
That's
yes.
our
That's
share.
our share. Yep.
okay?
So the times that they're not at the school, they'll come back and be on the road.
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
And this is all estimated. I don't know exactly. I don't know if we have set in stone what the agreement is
No, I
between the
think
school.
actually 5390. I think that's the full takeoff amount because we have to budget for the body.
Right, that's got to be a full year salary for a policeman.
We'll double check it.
I don't think so.
You think policemen are making over 100,000 a year?
Not a patrolman.
Not a patrolman,
Patrolman,
maybe,
yeah.
but but
Well, that's
more
what
than
this is
50.
saying.
More than 50. They're probably making 75.
Okay.
So as I said, I don't think
then
this is half.
53 is not half.
No.
Can't
We'll
be.
double check
Yeah.
this number.
Now,
It may be reflected in the
I can
bottom
understand
numbers,
that if we've got to
Right.
carry the full
We might have to
cost
carry the
and then
cost
get
and they offset,
reimbursed,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
offset charge. Okay, yeah, would you like to do it?
I have to
But
check
that
to
just
see
seemed
what
like
his
a high
agreement.
number.
I have to check to see what his agreement is with the school, but and then you have the 2 from library, the 2 part-timers, so the teen service assistant and then the digital skills person.
Mhm.
So those ones we didn't add to budget either. So I don't know if you guys feel differently about any of them, but ones that you would like to see added, ones that you.
Did we? I thought they library requested somebody last year, and we denied.
It was
them.
it was a teen person.
Was it a teen?
And I think they did. I feel like there was 2.
I just remember the team.
It might just be the teen person, but with Karen leaving, and I know there was, from what I gathered, that the committee wasn't in support of adding the body.
Mhm.
It was 2 last year.
That's what I thought.
Can't
I
remember
think they
the
were
second
both
one.
part-time, but it was 2.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was 2. I just can't remember what the second one was.
We increased somebody's hours or something, didn't we?
I know we did increase one of the pages to be like a clerk.
Yeah, right. That was the one change
Yeah.
we did make.
We did make that one, but I know there was very strong feelings about not adding the teen service person last year. So
Yeah,
I
you're
kind of
right.
kept going with that this year. But if you guys feel differently, would like to see any of them added, I will be glad to.
Mm. See, that's why I was trying to remember who we added. Who did we add last year, Christian? You're thinking hours?
Yeah, I
On
thought
one?
I thought it was
This
only.
is Jamie, I think I was the one that was telling you. I think that Kristen and I both felt really strongly that we should not be funding the librarian to go into the schools. Remember, they wanted to do that
Right.
book program with the library when we Yeah. didn't fund it through the schools. I think that Kristen and I both felt pretty strongly about that.
Yes, that's what I remember too. I know we definitely increased the hours for one of the patron. I forgot what they call them, patron somethings. We definitely did that one last year, but this one I know we didn't fund for how the committee felt and we were setting budget. The current director left, so I didn't know if I wasn't trying to add bodies to a new director starting.
Mhm.
So that wasn't brought up this year about them going into the schools, but I just know last time when we had talked about that position, that was what they wanted to do with it. So I didn't know. They had just talked about keeping them in the library and benefiting the teens because they don't have anyone to do the teens now. So I don't know if anyone
That's
feels
what I thought the
differently now.
explanation
But
was. This would be an in the library person that
Yeah.
handled that group of kids that came in. It
Jamie
sounded.
has her hand up.
go ahead, Jamie.
If you want to keep going with the library conversation, you can. My question was about the police officer position at the school, so
Oh.
I can wait till the library
Okay.
conversation is done.
Yeah, I just see that, if the library gets a lot of use by that group, and this is where I kind of like see
Right.
the programs and that they do, and
Right.
I think I said last week, I was very impressed with the programs that are being put on by the library. So I kind of thought that this might be a good position for them, and since we're using the word offsets a lot, okay? I know that you increased the finance committee's fund
Yeah,
from 200 to 250.
yeah.
And I'm
That
thinking-
was recommended in,
We were trying to match, what was that, we said 1% of the operating
budget should be in reserves. It's like in some finance document we had saw. We're really trying to get that AAA, and we just got rated again yesterday, and we're still a AA plus, which is great. But I really want that AAA.
But we didn't put our advantage.
We did.
I see,
So
I was ready to say, well,
0.5 to
how about we just increase it to 225 and throw 25 against this?
well, you couldn't do that. I could just give her 20,000 or whatever. You couldn't move it from your reserve fund.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, like
I
cut your
don't-
reserve
don't-
fund, you're saying?
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, instead of increasing the reserve
Right.
fund.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So just looking at the target minimums, it was essentially for the reserve recommendations between 230, 44 to 460, 88. You could bring it, if you want to bring it down to 230, and you're at pretty much right at that minimum recommendation.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
This
already
is
like
the
you have
I
been
mean-
you've just been underfunding your
Right, even
operational
if I-
reserve for so long that we were trying to bring it
Bring it
Back
to a
up,
median.
yeah.
I get
I mean,
that.
even if I just added 22,000 to the library budget, you're still closing 2 million in excess levy capacity. So, and just not 2 million because we do have the 22,000. I mean, I could add the 22,000 if you guys want to see that position. I mean, I can't take from
which
places
one?
too.
The digital navigator or the
Well, I think
No,
he's saying the
teenage.
teen service
I was thinking
assistant.
the teenage. To me, because that's somebody that's going to help a specific group of people that populate the digital. Almost anybody can be a digital
Right.
guru, okay, if they wanted to be.
Yeah, I don't think the kids really need that.
I don't think they need it, right? Right. We could probably hire the kids to.
You want to do that?
No, I don't want to do that. Hell, I can hardly get my Android phone to do what I wanted to do. But I just thought we could discuss it.
Yeah.
All right. Guys at home, any thoughts on adding a teenage person to the library?
Sounds good to me.
I still have the same feeling I felt last year. I will, if you guys all want to do it, fine, but I still have the same feeling that I had last year.
I have the same reservations as Jamie.
Okay. And I'm sorry, explain that reservation again, just so I better understand it.
So we cut the librarians at the school, and maybe a better way to say that is we did not fund them. And so there's currently no librarian in the middle school. And Kristen, you probably know better than I do if there's one at the elementary school. I know there is at least a part-time one at the Heritage School, but we cut them in the schools where the kids are all able to access them. And we are proposing funding at the library where not every child has access.
Okay.
And Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, they're looking for this position to supplement the school specifically, where I think it's really the school's responsibility to fund the position within the school. The librarian at the elementary school is shared between the two elementary schools and fully cut at the middle school. So I think what the library is trying to do is supplement the position at the middle school, whereas really that should fall under DCRSD.
So
Yep, that's exactly how I feel.
Okay.
I'm not speaking for the library, but when they came in front of us, from what I recall, is this person I think would stay in the library and make programming specific for teens, which they don't do right now. So they're kind of not servicing that, like, I don't know, let's say like maybe
After school.
12 to 13 age group to like, let's just say 18-year-olds. They're kind of missing the ball on programming in the library after school for that age group. And that's what this person would do, is what I believe what she said when she was here. So
That's not what
it was a different. I'm not
Different director.
Not defending either way, but that was a different director last year than what you saw this year.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I don't. from what was said, and I'm not, just what was said at our meeting when they came, that wasn't brought up about going into the schools this time. And I think last time they asked for a full body, so they were going to split and do half in the library, half in the schools, and now they're only asking for a part-time person. So I don't know if that's where the difference is. I mean, I can, if the committee would like them added, I can talk to her and ask her what the plan is for the position, and I could bring that back or shoot it in an email once I talk to her, and then
Well,
if you guys
I think
felt-
actually my position is just to ensure that it's not supplementing something that DCRSD is not funding.
right, so
I do know that there's just from National Junior Honor Society and such, there's a significant gap in teen programming. So I think I'm supportive in that sense. I just want to make sure we're not supplementing DCRSD.
that's, so I was gonna say, so if she can confirm that this is to only stay in the library and do programming only at the library, would you guys be in favor of it?
I would be.
My question is, didn't both you and Andrew say that you were not recommending us to fund that this year?
We were going in line with what the recommendation
Was from
has
what- yeah.
been of the finance committee
In
on
the past.
on this specific item. So
and that's why, Jamie, I'm bringing it up, because yes, you're right, that has been our position in the past, but it's my opinion that this is an important position, and again, I was willing to say, let's cut funding to the finance committee in order to pay for this.
Yeah. Okay. I hear what you're saying. I would appreciate hearing the information from the library of what the intent is for the position. But I maintain that we as a community should be giving DCRSD enough money to fund this in the schools where they're going to have a further impact because they're going to reach more kids.
Right.
But we don't have control over what the school
No.
board and it's kind of, I hear what you guys are saying, but I think that we have less control over that. And I don't think, even if this position was to, I don't think it is to go to the schools. I don't think that's like a negative thing either. I don't look at that if they came back and said, yeah, we would, I don't see that as a negative. But I hear what everybody's saying. I'm just.
But Jeremy, the reason the DCRSD cut them is because the communities couldn't afford to fund
Right,
it.
and there's a lot that goes into that with a whole nother town that's involved, and it's completely outside of, not completely outside of our control, because obviously we approve that budget, but the decisions that are made within it are completely outside of our control. But I hear you, Jamie.
Yeah.
All right, well,
I'll ask her and I'll send her a response to all you guys when she gets me an answer. So I don't know if you guys feel if it's to stay at the library only, I can add it, and if you want, I can cut back finance committee to add the 20,000 in there. That's fine.
If I'm being fair to all of you, you probably have the numbers to vote on it today, even if Kristen and I were to vote no. So,
well, that's why I was going to ask for a motion so we can all let everybody know where each other stands. I'll entertain a motion that we fund the teenage, whatever it's called,
Services
position
and
at the library.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And again, if you want to vote no, vote no. Don't be afraid. You got to make it unanimous.
No.
All right?
I think Hank made it. That's fine.
Oh,
he can make motions.
Oh, okay.
I can't make a motion.
You can't. So
I can't.
You
So
wanna make
Jeremy
it?
made the motion.
I'll make a
Brian
motion.
second.
Brian seconded
Okay.
it. Okay. All right. Let's just take them. All those in favor say yes.
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 All those opposed say no.
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 Okay. So we're 4 and 2.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me
I'll
to?
tell you what. I should have done this. If you'll allow me to amend that motion upon assurances that this is an in-house person and not a shared person with the school.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Do
Now,
you?
whether we want to make that part of the motion or whether we want to just agree to it amongst ourselves.
I'll make a motion that it is contingent upon
It's staying.
staying in-house.
It's staying in-house. Okay, so that's the motion also. It stays in-house. All right, girls?
Yeah.
Do you want a second?
Understood.
Ray?
Second.
Okay. And then, do you want to just take another vote again?
All right, we'll take another vote to make it legal because we got Kurt watching us. All those in favor say yes.
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 Yes. All those opposed say no.
I think we're still opposed. I'm not
okay.
sure.
Okay, so the vote is 4-2.
Yeah.
All right.
Just for, so I know, do you want me to take the 20 from Finance Committee's line, make it
Well,
230?
we're going to get to that.
Okay,
Okay, but that's where I had
Okay.
intended to.
so you don't support the digital or the fire inspector, but the teen services we're gonna add.
Right.
Okay,
Contingent on.
yep.
All right. Next, we have the school assessments. I'm not quite sure that there's much to talk about there. That's pretty much a given
Hey,
to
can,
us.
hey,
Yes,
can
go
I
ahead.
just ask my
Yeah.
question?
She wanted to ask
Go
about
ahead,
that,
Jamie.
so, that's right.
I just wanted to go back to the question I had about
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
officer at the school. That's at the middle school?
It will be for, don't quote me, I think he can go into any of the Charlton schools, but it will be either, I think, middle or heritage.
And you said it was a part-time, like, resource
Well,
officer?
no, it will be, they'll be there full time, I think, between the two schools, but the school is paying half, we're paying half. Ish. It might be a
Okay.
little bit more than half.
And then he'll
but-
be assigned a detail when he's not working at the schools.
Yeah, he'll come
Like
back.
over the summer or something?
Yeah, so he'll come back and work over the road when school's out, and if the person wants to during school vacations.
Okay. And this is something that the school asked for, or this is something that the police asked for?
The school asked.
School
for it.
asked for it.
But we're funding half of it?
Yeah, so the middle school, I guess the middle school principal, I think it was, has been asking for somebody over there, and I think the superintendent went to our police chief, and they kind of made an agreement. If we fund half, the school will try to put half in their budget and see if it makes any leeway anyway. And it's made it this far without coming out. So
They have the same agreement in place
Yeah.
with the town of Dudley.
yeah, for the high
Okay.
school.
Is there... Okay, I guess I can follow with the school. I wonder if there's a high enough need
So
that the police are on site that much at the middle school or the elementary schools that we would fund a full position for this.
So I think it was more, there was some language somewhere that I think the middle school principal had been really pushing out there to this. I might
This
be
is a new-
wrong, but
This is a new middle school principal this year, though.
yeah, maybe, and then maybe I'm wrong there, but I know there was something from somebody at the school that had been pushing. There's some new, maybe not new, but there's some articles or something out there that said that they should be in like a middle school to help with. I mean, I know they used to do DARE like when I was in school, but that there used to be somebody down there, I think, years ago, and it got cut. Like I'm talking like years and years ago. So I just know that the superintendent came to police chief and he was like, if we can get it into budget, will you guys do the same deal we do with the town of Dudley for the high school?
And don't we do that with Bay Path now?
Bay Path pays
pays
for
the
all
whole
of
thing.
his
Bay
salary,
Path.
except for the summer. They pay for the entire school. It's like 10 months of salary and benefits.
I'll follow up with the school. I really see a very high need for this at a high school level. I just don't know that I think funding a 40-hour-a-week person for a middle school level is really warranted.
Yeah.
But I'll ask the school, I guess, so that
Okay.
it doesn't keep our time going.
Okay, and on page 27 of this report is where we come with the 5-year forecast going out on revenues and expenditures. So I'd like to take a few minutes just to go with that because the last 3 years are the ones that you show in parentheses.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what you were alluding to earlier.
Right,
So I
based
just,
off current trend, if you were to take essentially, if we did find that level at $250,000 in new growth each year, and how your revenues would stack against your expenditures. So we kind of use that average of 6% for, almost a 5% average increase in growth versus only 3% increase in revenue, you would end up at, by 2030, you know, making difficult budget
Yeah.
decisions.
2030 probably wouldn't be so bad, but 2031 would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
300,000 shortfall I could probably find somewhere, but 1.5 million, nah, that's pushing it.
Yeah. All right, so those are just nice numbers to know as
Yeah.
we're talking.
There is money in stabilization though.
Yes, right. So we probably wouldn't. I mean, theoretically, this is all. The state made this nice, lovely forecast spreadsheet that they gave us, so that's kind of where this comes from. So based on our estimates, and granted, this might not be accurate because there's obviously like some of them probably won't really. Maybe some departments or some of these lines won't grow as much as what they're saying they are. So we might not really. It might not be that early, but if we're estimating based on that. I mean, could you take out a stabilization? Yes, but again, you're taking one-time funds to balance.
Oh, I certainly understand that,
Yeah.
you know, for taking free cash or,
Yeah.
or taking stabilization.
Right.
I mean, it's there for an emergency.
Right.
But then how long does the emergency last?
Right,
and
before
is
you're
that
in-
sustainable?
Right, and before you're asking for an override for,
Right, we need to budget based on a sustainable
Right.
budget.
yeah,
Especially when you're talking about salaries and people's livelihoods.
right,
Right.
You don't want to be committing yourselves to long-term operational
Right.
costs that you know are not going to be tenable.
right.
Exactly.
All right, so now we're moving on to the actual budget revenue and expense summaries.
Yep,
And that's where I had made my note. The first one I had made a note on was Finance Committee. So you've got it from 202 going up to 251, and what I'm suggesting is let's bump that down to 231. What number did we need to hit, Andrew? 230?
230.
It was like 230.
Yeah.
so you're,
So we can take 20 grand out of there.
yeah,
I'm on page 30.
30.
I'm on page 30 at home.
I hate reading reports, they're usually.
I know, right?
And what I'm suggesting is that we reduce the increase in the Finance Committee expenses from 202 up to 231 and take the excess revenue, and that would be applied toward that library position.
Andrew, the 233 that you're saying, 233 to 460, whatever the heck it is, what is there any benefit of being at that 233? You're talking about AAA ratings and like, is that like what's the recommendation you guys?
It's a good
Because
policy.
if it's $2,000,
it's a good, we're just looking at it as a good policy benchmark to try to go to.
Right.
We don't have a policy right now on our reserves. It's always been that we're kind of looking at what's best practice. And
Right.
best practice is somewhere between 0.5 and 1% of your operating.
so that's 233 exactly gets us to 0.5.
Correct.
So do you want to be at 233 so we're at 0.5? I don't know. I don't know what it.
I don't think it's going to move the needle on our bond rating
Okay,
at all.
there's nothing
being
else that plays
$3,000
into
off.
it. Okay.
But we'll get close. And you know what? If in October we want
I'll
to
say,
make
we
sure
can put
we're up
more.
over,
Because I'm not
we'll
going
figure
out
a way.
tomorrow until January long term, so,
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure there's nothing we're missing by not.
yeah.
By going to 231 instead
Right.
of 233?
Yes.
It's still a growth, and I think that like next year we'll recalculate and see where we're at.
Right.
I think 0.5% right now should be our every years we were like we want to get to 10% stabilization. I think that's kind of the next thing we just got to look at is trying to get to that 0.5%.
Yeah, just like I'd like when at some point start going back over capital expenditures required. Our capital stabilization fund should be a percentage of our expected expected expenses over the next 5 years, and then always know. Okay, it's a good number to have in the back of your head.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do that. That was
Yep.
the only note I had on that page. I don't think I had. Did anybody have any questions? Any further questions on line items? Although this sheet here is more of a summary sheet.
Right.
And I didn't go too deep into the actual budget itself because we kind of been doing that. So just pick the high points that you changed.
So, I mean, really, from what people have asked for, I made a cut. I mean,
On if you want on page 24, if you want to just grab the tablet, I did add in quick
Oh,
Right now,
oh,
I
it's in
don't know
here.
that you did. Unless you printed out the very last one.
I did, I think, but that's fine.
Top of page 24, I outlined all the differences between the request and the budget.
Oh, okay.
And the recommend.
Page,
That might be-
top of
make it
page
easier for you.
24.
Wait, where? Oh, on this page 24. Hold on. Sorry, it's been a long day. Right here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I kind of remember. So, police asked for their training wages was
Yeah.
a big increase from last year, and he, if I looked historically, he hasn't really gotten super close to that number. So, for him to go to 89.8, I kind of brought him down to 85 because he's going to do some of the training that he was budgeting for in 27 and 26 because he had a savings from something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought him down to 85 for training for police, and then I did take back some of fire, so we changed his full-time training wages because when we talked to him, Andrew and I trying to figure out like why was there such a huge increase from 60,000 to 127.5, and there was some duplicate in there, so we agreed to 98. So he's actually even good with 98. And then the call personnel we changed to tell him that we already talked about that one. Overtime we brought down a little bit. I know he said he was going to be able to do have somebody basically be like the mechanic in there, and that's why he was asking for so much. So I kind of had a little come down to normal man land with him. So he's still able to do that, and I think that maybe through some things he's able to do internally, the 330 should be enough because he's actually trending under the 310, like under where he should be at the 310 for this year. So he should be good with that. And then we just kind of looked at some of his increases that he had, and we all know this is the first year with the station, the news station. So I kind of tried to keep him online with some things. We changed his ambulance expenses, ComStar, station maintenance, and firefighter gear and equipment. So just some things that he had increased quite a bit from current year. In talking with him, that he agrees that if we needed to, let's just say come, which he really won't know in October, but maybe come May, if he really needed to, he either move money around in his budget, or if we had to, I can supplement from
Say,
another budget or free cash or something just for
all
one
of the
time.
reductions that we made to these lines are still pretty healthy
Right,
increases
from-
over FY26.
Right.
So prove the need first, and then we'll readjust.
It's going to be a learning year.
We're all projecting it as to what the impact
Right.
is going to be on Station 2.
Right.
What has the design team given any info on expected energy costs for that building?
Not yet. We're carrying a contingency right now until I can get the full estimate.
Because that's always
The
the
fun
thing.
part.
You bring a new building on in
Right.
October. It is an all-electric, energy-efficient building,
Right. Cha-ching.
but it's still a
Electric.
new cost that often gets overlooked.
Right.
I remember there's substantial increases in
Yeah.
energy.
We did increase
Something
energy use by
electrical.
40,000. Just we don't know what costs might escalate, but I think 40 is a good number to let's see what a half year's worth of bills look like.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think I really had to go through and cut much more. The big cost saver for us, which I know we have on the agenda talking about insurance, but as I'm going through budget, we did have some good news for health insurance. The Board of Selectmen voted last night. We are switching health plans. We're going from Blue Cross Blue Shield with the trust. We're going to leave the trust, move to Mass Strategic Health Group, and they were able to hold us at a 0% rate increase for FY27. So we'll have no increase in premiums for FY27. The 12%
We're going
increase.
there by ourselves or part of a...
So we're going to be joining into a smaller JPA with Dudley Charlton School District, Spencer East Brookfield School District, and the town of Webster. They're already established. They've been with Mass Strategic for years. The town of Dudley did vote last week to also join, and us. So it'll be the 5 of us.
Okay.
So we've been working with our insurance advisors, and that was, I think, the best option we had on the table. With the unknown with the trust, they say they're going to be
I'm sorry,
fine.
go
We
back. So
felt it was the best.
2027, they'll be able to hold it pretty
we'll have no rate increase. So what we did is we added a deductible.
Even though we just took a giant
Correct.
increase for 2026. So
Correct.
basically they said, yeah, after your big increase,
Yeah.
we'll hold that number.
So the only thing we did
That's
do
a-
is we added a deductible into the plan. So with the deductible and the big increase we had, they didn't see a need for a premium
Further
increase. Yeah,
Staying with Hampshire Group would have resulted in a 12.5% increase
Yeah.
to premiums plus
A deductible.
plus a deductible.
and plus copay and
What
copay
deductible
changes.
did you come up with?
500 individual, 1,000 family.
Okay.
So from nothing to that, it's going to be a big jump for employees. So we felt if we could keep the 0% rate increase, but also make them now pay a deductible, it was kind of like a,
Based on what's out there, that's not.
I know.
Right.
People are still going to be mad because they're paying nothing right
Yeah.
now. So,
Right.
but it's really, I mean, comparatively to, like you said, to others, even other municipalities, it's still not, it's not bad.
Yeah, everybody's.
Yeah.
going up, they pick up.
Yeah.
Mine's 7,500
Yeah. Individual or for family?
family.
Yeah. So, I don't know. My mom's is 5,000 individual, 10,000 family, and she works at a hospital. So it's not bad,
No free rides.
right? So the 12.5 increase, we are going to have to still pay out. Our claims run out for 18 months from leaving the trust. It'll probably be heavy in the first 3 to 6. Then you'll have the trickling of the doctors that are slow at billing or the insurance company that they're fighting with, whatever. And then the new bodies. So that's why you still see a 12.2% increase in there. So good news and
You have to budget for somebody to taking a family plan PPO.
right
if
for
they're
the
new
new body. Yeah. So might not be that bad, but that's kind of where we're at now. So
Okay.
that's really, I mean, luckily it wasn't. I still kept in mind we obviously wanted to have that cushion for the excess levy capacity from last year. We want to carry that and obviously keep that going. So.
Our next step is to sit down and see where we're at and then try to calculate out that projected average single family tax bill. It won't be 100% accurate because until the assessor does her revat or does her valuations, we won't really know what the difference is. So we're just going to project it off of 26 data and try to try to figure out where we're at.
Right.
Okay. So that's pretty much everything on the budget. Everybody at home, any questions further on the budget?
No question.
Nothing from me.
I don't have any more either. Thank you.
Okay, Jamie. All right, we just got our help update.
Yep.
And I guess there's
Miss
no other business unknown at time of posting.
I think Jamie had something.
Jamie has a question.
I don't actually have a question. I just checked in with Miss Marsh about the question that I had asked about the police officer, and he told me that the police officer would cover all Charlton schools, and at times right now the resource that is in Dudley is the resource that they use, and so this would be something that they would be putting in place so that they weren't taking the Dudley resource into the Charlton schools. And he also told me that this this police officer would help with not just student issues, but it would be the parent-student situations that occur. So just for a little bit more context.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I kind of thought they were going to be in all schools, but I didn't want to. So that makes sense.
Thank you, Jamie.
Sure.
Okay. Christian, you did send me a note saying you were going to be here for the April meeting in person.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best.
Okay.
My husband had an accident and he's not able to drive, and
Okay.
his knee is completely blown. So I'll have to get childcare and everything, but I'll do my best to be there.
I cannot be here for that meeting.
And you can't be.
That's the 12th.
It's the 14th.
The
Or,
14th.
that's what I meant. That's
Yeah.
Tuesday the 14th.
Yeah.
I am going to be in. I
Okay.
will not.
Not available.
Should be here.
You should be here.
Jamie and Brian, will you guys be here?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland for work.
Be in New Jersey for.
I'll be there.
So
It's going to be.
I
tough.
mean, in
I
person.
will be zooming
Zoom,
in.
okay.
I mean, I'll be here to make sure we got quorum. It's just I always like to have the chairman present in physical in the meeting. So, Christian, if it turns out you can't be here, then I guess Ray could be acting chairman.
Great.
can you do that?
That's that.
Can you have an acting chair if your vice and chair aren't?
You just take a vote to.
You can. Robert's rules say you can.
Okay.
I'd still be on Zoom. I mean, Hank or I could be chair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
you can
be.
still chair from.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will be
Yeah.
a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, and we're going to do warrant articles and motions.
Right.
And then budget. That'll be your first time staying together for the budget. And I don't know if they confirmed. Is the school coming? Did you ask him today?
I didn't ask.
I know Joe said he was available, so I don't know if it's just going to be Joe or him and Steve, but I think the school's coming.
Yeah, I
too.
remember seeing a yes from somebody.
Yeah,
but
I think
don't think
it was
everything
from their
about it.
finance,
I don't think.
their finance person over there, finance director.
Okay.
That is here, right?
Yes, it'll be in the meeting room. Yeah.
All right, so are you looking for us to actually sign off on this budget tonight?
Yes, because then it will
It'll
go
be your
from.
recommended.
present-
Yeah, it will be your
This is-
recommended budget, not ours anymore.
Right.
It'd be on you.
All right, I will entertain the motion that we approve the budget as presented and amended.
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion,
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion? Christian, Brian, Jamie?
No.
No, thank you.
Okay, there being no further discussion, all those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's unanimous. We have a budget.
Yay.
All right.
I like that. What's this? It's May 25th. Look at us go.
All right.
March 25th. That's right.
It was
Wow.
May 25th, I
It's,
think.
it's
May
an-
25th, we're all done.
That's true. It's an ebb month. It's close enough.
Wishful.
I'm wishing away this month. That needs to be warm.
Anybody got anything they want to bring up outside of all of this?
That next meeting is Tuesday,
It's
April
a-
14th?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yep.
You'll be in person.
Yeah.
Brian, will you be in person? Just
Yes, I will.
Okay.
so at least have two people in
Right.
person,
Yeah.
and then hopefully Kristen.
Yeah.
And then Christian and I will make quorum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least we'll have quorum, and then even if you guys
Yeah.
are Zoom, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay, I'll entertain a motion. We adjourn tonight.
Motion.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say yes.
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 Yeah.
Yes.
Opposed say no. It is a vote. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you from
Thank you.
sunny
Bye.
Florida in April.